This is going to be crazy for you. If you tell me, Thomas, that in the 5th grade, you were the fastest person on your team,
right?
You have the potential to be great in final expense. If you tell me in the 7th grade you were the #1 trumpet seat, we're even in the 7th grade,
right?
If you tell me in the 10th grade that you, and this is different people now, that you were the a good basketball player,
right?
You've had some form of success. Deep down inside you, you're a great final expense agent.
Director of Marketing with Senior Life Insurance Company. We're at the Senior Life Home Office in Thomasville, Georgia. And of course, like always, we are all fired up. On this episode of the podcast, we have a very, very special guest, big dog in the company, beast mode in the company, RVP Lewis. Lewis, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Thomas. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing really good. I really appreciate you coming in and spending some time with us today. You're really, really, really putting numbers up on the board. You're doing it really, really big, just to say the least. One of those reasons is because you're a very driven person.
True. And
one thing we always like to talk about, what drives you?
You know, Tom, I've been in business 23 years consecutively, not always in the insurance business. And when I got into this business, I was ready for a change.
Okay.
And so I will tell you that a lot of it is self-motivation. I have 6 children, so I've always had a lot of mouths to feed.
Right.
And so, saw this opportunity, didn't see it initially.
Okay.
So as I talk to people and initially they don't see it, I'm okay with that.
Right.
I actually looked at final expense in 2008 and it went over my head.
Right.
Went over my head. Really didn't get serious about this thing. I really took a hard look until 2013 and then got very serious. We had a meeting in Atlanta back in 2016.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
And I sat there next to Shiraka. Shiraka is one of my regional managers.
Yes.
And we decided then, I think, we can do this thing and we can make a lot of money. So, having the right people with you, the right opportunity at the right time, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So being in Atlanta at that meeting was an aha moment for you.
Without a doubt.
But you had already been in final expense prior to that, prior to coming on board with that. So how long getting into the final expense industry would you say did it take you to really get to that moment?
I got serious-minded in final expense in 2013.
Okay.
Obviously with a previous company. I was there probably serious-minded from November until about September.
Okay.
And then I had actually met Rob Ellsbury, my upline. I had met him back in like May. Somebody had referred him to me. And with that previous company, I was making good money. I had moved into their top 10 earners.
Yeah.
And so when Rob approached me with this opportunity, obviously when you're making a lot of good money,
right,
you're going to be a little hesitant.
Yes.
And so he was bragging about Dale and Ron Powell.
Yeah.
And I said, man, it sounds good, but I got to meet these guys.
Yeah.
And so I came down in May or June of 2014 and got a chance to meet Ron and Dale and Robert, and they just, it felt right. Okay. So we left the meeting, me and my family, we left, and we got to Macon, and we got a hotel, and we got a hotel room. I said, all right, what are we going to do? Now, of course, I had the deciding vote.
Right.
Everybody said, hey, let's do it.
Everybody liked it.
They liked it.
That is amazing.
Yep.
That is amazing. So before final expense, what were you doing?
I was in the mortgage business.
Okay.
I was in the mortgage business. It's kind of strange in my career. I actually started in the insurance business when I was 16 years old. They had a deal at Blue Cross,
right,
that you could go work for your parents.
Yeah.
At the location there, and they did it. I did it my junior and senior year, and then believe it or not, when I was in college, I worked for another insurance company while I was in college.
Okay.
Worked full time. They put me through college.
Right.
And then I actually graduated with a degree in insurance. From the University of South Carolina.
Okay.
Go Cox.
Right.
And so I didn't know about the insurance program, and that's another time for that story.
Right.
And so when I graduated from USC with my insurance degree, I went into the insurance business.
Okay.
But it was more on the commercial business-to-business side.
Yeah.
So I did that as an account executive for a couple of different companies. And then in 1996, I started my insurance agency.
Right.
Okay. And then what happened is that by 97, I got into the mortgage business.
How did you do that?
It's so weird. So there's a guy that I knew. He said, Lewis, he was in the insurance business. He said, are you doing mortgages? I didn't know you could do mortgages. What are you talking about?
Right.
He said, go down here and talk to my friend George. Tell him I sent you, and you can make a lot of money. So I went down there and talked with George. And I got to tell you, Thomas, by 98, 99, making a lot of money.
Booming.
Now, here's the thing you can't do that now. So if somebody's listening to this thing now, do not get into the mortgage business. There's no money.
Right.
All right. They've changed it. And I did that until 2012.
Yeah.
I actually, when the fallout happened in 7 and 8 and 9,
yeah.
I didn't see it. And so around 2011, I saw myself losing money. And by 2012, I was out. And so when final expense came by, I was looking for an opportunity.
I got you.
I needed to make the kind of money I had made before.
Right.
And so that same guy that introduced me to the mortgage business introduced me to final expense.
Okay.
And this is how weird it was. So, made a lot of money doing that. And so I was told I wasn't really listening to him.
Right.
I really wanted that mortgage thing to work, but it had fallen apart.
Right.
And so I was told, hey, listen, didn't he help you make a lot of money before? Yeah. Why don't you listen to him?
Right.
And so I sat down with him. He kind of showed me a plan, and it looked good. But what looked better was what Senior Life was offering in 2014.
So you came to visit, you met Ron and Dale, you met Robert, you had that good vibe, but what was it about Senior Life that really made you think, like, this is where I'm going to be at? When you're sitting in the hotel with your family in Macon, what was the deciding factor?
Well, one thing that was really important is that this was a nationwide opportunity. With the previous company I was with, it was a regional opportunity. They had about 6 or 7 states that you could do business in.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that I wanted to do business in California. I knew I wanted to do business in Texas. And I knew I had to do business in Florida.
Right.
If I'm dealing with senior citizens, that's where they live.
Right.
I live in South Carolina. We have 4.9 million people in the entire state. Well, I know that, California, Los Angeles has that on the city block. So that was the first thing.
Right.
That was the first thing. The second thing was that Ron Powell said to me, he said, Lewis, we want to make more millionaire agents than any other insurance company has ever done. That was music to my ears because nobody had said that. That, hey, we want to help you make $1 million a year.
Right.
All right. And so those are the kind of reasons I really felt the vibe because Dale and Ron both had been licensed, had been in the business, had started from the ground up.
Right.
Came from very, very humble beginnings.
Very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't as humble in their beginnings as they were.
Right.
But I also came from humble beginnings. So that kind of really struck something to me. I felt pretty good about it. And then I thought they were genuine.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not going to play any games. We're going to offer you a great opportunity.
Right.
And boom.
And there it is.
Yep.
How long into your career in final expense were you building a team?
I started pretty much from the beginning.
Okay.
Yep. When I was with the previous company, it was kind of funny. We would have meetings, and folks would get up and they say, well, who invited you? So at the meetings, of course,
right.
I always had the most people. And so what I was told early on is that if you want to make a lot of money in this business, you have to build big teams.
Right.
So if I wanted to make a lot of money, guess what I had to do?
You had to build a team.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I remember we had one event in Atlanta, and everybody from your team was wearing a matching shirt and sat in the same area, and like almost a third of the entire room was everybody from your group. Yep. So, a lot of people are going to want to know because you do recruit at a high level, you do high numbers. People are going to want to know what's the secret, what's the tip, like how do people do that? Like what's the code to crack in order to do that?
Well, I don't think it's any code. I think the biggest thing is that whoever talks to the most people, recruit the most people. And so my intention is just like I would sit down with a lead or a referral or a client, and I'm there to help them with their benefits.
Right.
Well, when I sit down with a potential agent, same thought process.
Same thought.
I'm there to help. I'm there. I'm not worried about what kind of money I make.
Right.
I'm single-minded focused on the kind of money I can help them make. And so now what I've seen myself do, because we are recruiting better quality agents.
Right.
I recruit a lot of neophytes.
Okay.
Folks that have never looked at the business, folks that have never heard of final expense, folks that never had a license. I recruit the fire out of them.
So whenever you're recruiting, what are you looking for? If you're going from neophytes to people in the industry and all across the board, what is the trait? What is the thing that you see whenever you're trying to hire somebody?
This is going to be crazy for you. If you tell me, Thomas, that in the 5th grade, you were the fastest person on your team,
right?
You have the potential to be great in final expense. If you tell me in the 7th grade you were the #1 trumpet seat, we're even in the 7th grade,
right? If
you tell me in the 10th grade that and this is different people now, that you were the a good basketball player,
right?
You've had some form of success. Deep down inside you, you're a great final expense agent. Now I just got to help pull it out. Now, one of the challenges that you have is that life beats us up as we go along.
Absolutely.
So you were the fastest person in the 5th grade,
right,
but you didn't transcend that into further greatness.
Right.
Well, I'm here to make you great.
How do you do that?
The system.
Yeah.
All right. If you look at something, Thomas, in our system, you can take an agent and we can teach an agent how to make $1,000 to $2,000 every week.
Every week.
So tell me what employer here in Thomasville,
right,
what employer in Columbia,
right,
exactly, is saying that we're going to offer you $1,000 to $2,000 per week. We have the lead system. We have everything in place. We have health insurance benefits. We have retirement benefits. We have a full package.
Right.
All right. And so I can take a person that's in a career and basically, or in a job and say, hey, this is a career. You're going to have a professional license. What does that mean? That means that you have the ability to make money for the rest of your life. You can't be downsized. You can't be terminated. You can't be right-sized.
Right.
You own your own business.
Right.
In South Carolina, probably less than 1 or 2% of people own their own business.
Wow.
And then if you look at those folks, if you look at success, they don't have a lot of success.
Right.
So what I can do, Thomas, is take and put down a track record, a proven track record, not just mine, Dale and Ron Powell, all right, and say, hey, listen, if you follow this, you're going to be great. And that's what we do is that we just have more conversations. I have more conversations probably than anybody I know. My son told me the other day, he said, Dad, you might talk to 100 people a day.
Right.
100 people.
Yeah.
And so you talk to that many people. And then when I'm listening for certain things.
Okay.
If you're very negative, I'll give you an example. The other day I was talking with a young lady, and we were Facebooking each other. And she says, well, Lewis, the only time I'm going to be available to talk to you is from 8 to 12, from 8 a.m. to noon. I told her she didn't qualify for what I do. I said, if you're that busy that you only have a 4-hour window, you're not going to be successful. I said, if anything changes with your time commitment, please let me know.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So you want somebody that's all in?
Well, not initially. Don't have to be initially.
Okay.
But I want someone that's hungry. I want someone that wants opportunity.
Yeah.
I want someone that's sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're ready for a change.
Yeah.
And then I always tell people, because I'm a Christian, I'm not trying to convert anybody, but I ask them, I said, have you been praying to God to send some help?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, he sent me.
Okay.
He sent me.
Okay. Is that something that, is prayer something that's helped you along for yourself in business?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have people say, Lewis, you talk about God too much. I said, well, you ain't got to listen.
Right.
I don't have to talk.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, though, Thomas, I'm an introvert. I know.
I would not believe that for 1 second.
I'm serious. I'm very quiet.
Right.
In my personal life. I grew up with my dad. My dad and I would sit there and watch football or baseball.
Right.
That's a 3 or 4 hour deal, and no conversation, no words have been said.
Not saying that.
When I go sit with my grandfather, when I used to sit with him.
Right.
He was a very quiet man. Now in my business practice, I'm not quiet.
How do you separate them? Because a lot of people, if they're introverted or extroverted, business or personal, they're the same across the board. How are you able to do that?
I compartmentalize. Okay. Business is business. Personal is personal.
I got you.
Yep. Now, more times than not, I'm doing business.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm doing business. I'm emailing. I'm touching bases with people. But I can go 4 or 5, 6 hours, which I don't have that much. Well, here's what I'm doing. So if I'm going 4 or 5, 6 hours, there's not quiet time.
Right.
I'm on the phone.
Right.
I'm texting. I'm emailing. I'm Facebooking. That's the other thing, too. Now, I use all the resources. I have people that say, well, you got to have a conversation with them. Well, I believe in text. I can text you just as easy as I can have a conversation.
Right.
I can send you an email. I can hit you up on Facebook. I have a Twitter account, but I don't go on it. I don't have Instagram. But I believe that if people will use the tools that they have and kind of leverage them, I think they'll just blow it up.
Did you have, being an introvert to an extrovert in business, did you have a moment in your career where you were like, I need to make this personal change, or did it just naturally just happen?
Naturally occurred.
Okay.
When I was in my mortgage business, I never had to work with a lot of people.
Okay.
So it has been an adjustment for me.
Right.
Because now I'm going from just me and Shiraka in the office.
Right.
And just our customers as they come in.
Yeah.
To now I'm talking to hundreds of people. We had a meeting in Columbia the other day, last Saturday. We had 120 people there on our team. All right. So now I'm going to having to, I'm changing. I'm evolving.
Yeah.
And so, if you want to grow in anything, you got to change. You got to evolve.
Is that what you tell, especially to like newbies? The idea of getting on the phone with a customer or going to a customer's house a lot of times can be very scary for somebody who's like foreign to this industry. Do you use your personal experience to try to show them what can happen if they just kind of get out of their shell a little bit? Like, what do you do in those moments?
Well, yes. The biggest thing is that, of course, there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Right.
And so what we do, Thomas, before we'll let a new person go out to a client, go see a lead, we believe in training. All right? We have training twice a month in Columbia. And then we have almost daily training in the office. Mike Burns, my son, he's the director of agency. So he would bring a new person in, sit down with them, go through the flip chart presentation, go word by word, and then they practice on him. And we play knocking on the door, all those things there that they're going to see in the field. We also, if you're in the field and you're new or old and you're in a home and you're having some troubles, you can call us back. We'll answer the call.
Wow.
While you're in the home.
Wow.
To overcome any objection.
Right.
Talk with you about a thought process with the client.
Right.
Just using our experience. And it's been very, very effective for us.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I do want to thank you. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there when you're talking about how much you're on the phone. Before we started the podcast, you actually turned your phone off and flipped it over for us.
So I wouldn't be looking at it.
We got to get 100%. And as long as I've known you, I don't know if I've ever seen you without your phone in your hand, to be totally honest.
So. No, I never have it out of my hand. But this is important to me. And the thing about it is just touching basis with people.
Right.
Now, Thomas, even if I'm recruiting you and you say, well, Lewis, I'm not interested, I'll ask you why not. And the first thing you're going to tell me is a lie. All right? Just like a sale. All right. The first thing they tell you is a lie.
Right.
And the second thing you're probably going to tell me is a lie. I got to get down a little bit deeper.
I got you.
And we just try to tell people that you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. If Shiraka can do this, you can do this.
Right.
I think Sharon was here earlier. If she can do it, you can do it.
Right.
And so what I try to do is I lead by example. I'm not going to ask you to go out and do something I've never done.
Right.
And even when it comes to recruiting, I usually try to have the most people at the meetings.
You do tend to have a lot of people at the meetings.
No, even at my personal meetings.
I got you.
Yeah, with my team.
I got you.
I'm going to ask them, hey, bring some people to the meeting, but I'm not going to do it.
Right.
That ain't fair.
Right.
So I bring the most.
Wow, that's awesome. Speaking of recruiting, you have 6 kids.
Yep.
Obviously, your family is your why.
Yep.
How many work with you now?
3. All three that are above the age of 18 are full-time in the business.
And what do they do with you?
They're sales. Well, let me say something. David's 19, so he's strictly in sales right now. He got his license last August. Lewis came in a little bit later. He was on the college track.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of funny. This is a great story. So I said, Lewis, we were talking. I think he'd asked me to borrow some money to go to school.
Right.
I said, well, I got a question for you. Whenever you ask me to borrow some money, I got to ask you some questions. I said, what do you plan to do after school? He said, work with you, Dad. I said, we can stop this mess right now.
Just go ahead and get to work.
Hey, drop out. He said, drop out. I said, yes. And he dropped out.
Wow.
Yep. So Lewis came to work with us in 2014 around December.
Right.
And then when Michael got out of high school, Michael had no interest in college. Okay. And so Michael immediately kind of latched onto the business. And in August will be 6 years, and he's only 24 years old.
Wow.
Yep. So Michael is the director of agency.
Yeah.
Michael's job is to be my right hand, left hand, and really develop business.
Yeah.
And so he's done a great job. I will tell you, even though he's my son, we've probably seen our business almost triple since December.
Oh, wow.
And I can tell you a lot of it has to do with him and the system that we're putting in place with training.
Do you ever worry about conflict of interest with your sons being in your agency?
Let me tell you why. I'm harder on them than anybody else. I mean, I will get them. I'm serious. They know.
Yeah.
Dad's going to get me.
Right.
And I always told them, I said, look here, man, you're going to have to do it at a higher level than anybody else because everybody's watching. And they're waiting on you to make a mistake and see what I do. And that's going to be a bad idea. And so, it was kind of funny. I'd asked one of them to videotape something for me. Neither one of them did it. So in front of the whole room, I got them.
Yeah.
I said, the next time I ask you to do something, if you don't do it, you can go home.
Yeah.
So they know. But the thing about it, though, Thomas, they have never seen me have a job. All right. I've been self-employed for 23 years.
Right.
Lewis is only 26.
Right.
He was 3 years old when I started my business.
Wow.
Mike was 1.
Right.
David wasn't even born. So what they've seen is they've seen their daddy not have to work for anybody but himself.
Right.
What a cool deal.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely would be a source of inspiration for anybody.
Absolutely.
So does the sense of pride come in them following your footsteps, or does the sense of pride come in the fact that they are doing so well in an industry where they can thrive so much? Where does that come in, or is it just both?
It's both, but even when they were young, whatever they wanted to do, they could do.
Okay.
What I did is I always gave them the confidence that you can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
And you can be successful. Here's what I told them. If you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper.
Right.
If you're going to be a candlestick maker, be the best candlestick maker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So always strive for excellence.
Yeah.
So all three of them played sports at a very high level. David played lacrosse. Both Lewis and Michael ran track and played football. But they understood that if you're going to be out there, be the best you can be.
Absolutely.
So they've transcended that over into the insurance business. Lewis qualified for the trip, the Thomasville trip. Michael's more on the management side, and then David's just getting started. But I believe that David could, at 19, he could do as well. Have a 15-year-old, have an 11-year-old, and have a 6-year-old.
Well, that's my next question.
Yep.
What are they? You think they'll get in the business with you?
Well, the 6-year-old is already saying she's an insurance agent.
Okay.
And starts laughing. I'm an agent. I said, what kind of insurance agent? Exactly.
Right.
So she's fun. She's very, very smart.
Yeah.
The 11-year-old says that she's not going to sell insurance, but she's probably as talented as any of them. But she will.
Yeah.
It'll be a part of the agency.
Right.
And so we're just looking to help more people. That's what we're looking to do. What my feeling is that if I can help you, Thomas, I will.
Yeah.
I will help you. I will give you all I got. Okay. All I need you to do is listen to me. I have a saying: if you listen to me, I'll make you rich.
It's a powerful sentence.
Powerful sentence.
Definitely.
And I mean it. I really mean it in my heart.
Yeah.
Because I have seen this business just transform other people that you wouldn't think they would be good in this business.
Right.
Real quick story. My former company, we had a young lady, and so she would get up, and they said, "Well, how much business did you sell this week?" She would say, "My name is Lewis. I sold $8,000 in business. I like following." That's how she talked.
Right.
And I looked back and said, "You know what? This young lady, I think she might have had some challenges.
Right.
If she could do this business,
Right.
then anybody can do this.
Right. 8,000 a week.
Exactly.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Thinking, coming from where you come from in South Carolina, like you said, what was the percentage of business owners in South Carolina?
Oh, probably less than 2 or 3%.
So whenever you're coming from an environment like that, you're coming from an area where a lot of people might not have as many ambitions because they don't really know how to be ambitious. There's a lot of setbacks. And for people that have beginnings like that, a lot of times it's not even their fault. They just don't know what can really be out there. What is it about being from South Carolina that still made you think about growing in California, Texas? What is it that put your mindset for you to think across the entire country as opposed to just across the street?
Well, the biggest thing, Tom, is I'm really good with numbers. All right. So what I can do is I can take a $600 annual premium and multiply it by 1 million people. All right. And that works out to be $600 million.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so I knew that, hey, if I got 1 million customers,
right,
I got $600 million a year coming in.
Absolutely.
And so I'm just understanding that when I got in my business, Thomas, the first time, when I first started my business, I got mad about something. My former employer, we don't have to mention their name, they basically took $10,000 away from me. I qualified for a trip, and it was a qualification based on production.
Right.
And the production period was from January to December. And so we're in April, we're in Switzerland. So I'm expecting a $10,000 bonus check because I won the contest.
Right.
And so when we get there, they said, we need to talk to you. Okay, great. I'm figuring they'll give me $20,000 because that beat everybody so bad. And they said, we're not giving you the bonus. I said, oh, interesting. Why not? We changed the rules. When? Just now.
Just now.
Just now. But the check was already written.
Right.
And so the rules have been changed.
Right.
And so I got back, Thomas, this was like April 24th, 1996. My contract said that if I left them before June 30th, 1996, I owed them $15,000.
Wow.
For a bonus and for moving expenses.
Wow.
July 1st, I quit. I got mad. See, when you're 27, 28 years old,
right,
and you're expecting $10,000,
right,
and you got $5,000 in the bank, you go spend all of it.
I see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm still young.
Yeah.
I'm expecting the money to be replaced.
Right.
And so, Thomas, I was just so upset about that. So one of the things I encourage people, going back to what your question was, sometimes it takes an event like that to move you out of your comfort zone. With this other company, I was making a 6-figure income.
Right.
I was 25, 26, 27 years old. But once again, because they did that, I couldn't trust them anymore.
Right.
And so I started my business July 1st, 1996, and we haven't looked back. I'm more excited today than I've ever been.
Why is that?
Business opportunity. Thomas, I really believe that I can do $100 million in premium.
Yeah.
I really believe that I can do $1 billion in premium.
Right.
I really do. And so when you look at that kind of opportunity and you look at the type of legacy that you can set up for your family,
yeah,
you think about something for a second. I'm doing things for my children's children's children. I have no grandchildren. And so I have a place that no matter whether it's 50 years down the road or 100 years down the road, that my great-great-grandchildren have a place to go to work.
Wow.
What a great deal.
What a great deal.
Yeah.
And what a great way to put it, too,
Yeah.
when you're talking about legacy. With that, one thing we like to talk about is goals. What are some of, for your group, for your agency, what are some of your short-term goals?
Sure. What we want to do is in July, we want to cross over 500,000. Okay. We've done 400,000 a couple times. 5 sounds a lot better.
Right.
And believe it or not, Thomas, by the end of the year, we'd like to be doing $1 million a month. $1 million a month.
That's not that far from what you're doing.
It's not that far.
Like, it's so close.
Let me share something with you. We went over $100,000 the first time, July of 2016.
Right.
The previous month, we were at 50. We doubled. Okay?
Right.
I've actually looked back at what happened. We had one person that we brought on board,
Right.
and he changed our whole business.
Wow.
Well, guess what?
What?
He just recently came back.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to call his name out yet because I don't want to put any pressure on him.
Right.
But, he's just that type of personality. And believe it or not, he was bigger than Shiraka back then.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Amazing. Amazing.
That's another hard sentence right there.
Exactly. So, we're excited about that.
Yeah.
But, one of the things I would encourage people, Thomas, is I want this opportunity for everybody.
Yeah.
But everybody's not going to make it. Everybody's not going to stay with you.
Right.
You understand that people quit Microsoft. Any great job you can think of,
Right.
Google.
Right.
People quit.
Yeah.
People quit the NBA. People quit the NFL.
Right.
A lot of folks get upset when people quit.
Yeah.
I understand it's a natural type of process. Do I want you to quit? No. We'd love to be in business with you for the next 200 years, our family being in business. But if you feel like there's a better opportunity somewhere else, I'm going to wish you well.
Right.
Now, I will tell you, a lot of them come back.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
So there's just no hard feelings. If somebody, even if they leave to pursue something else or they say this is for them, you welcome back with open arms.
No hard feelings.
Yeah.
It's like the prodigal son. The only person I'd probably be mad would be Shiraka. I mean, I've known her for almost 20 years.
Right. I mean, 2 decades.
She's not going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, we've just built that kind of relationship and friendship.
Yeah.
And, she'll be a person that I probably, until the day I close my eyes, we'll be in business together.
Oh, wow.
What a great deal.
That's amazing. Speaking of goals, what are some of your long-term goals?
Believe it or not, I want to go to 100 million sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
I think that'll be a great threshold.
Yeah.
I was messing with some numbers this morning. If you do an average app of $600,
Right.
and you're looking at $100 million, it's not as big as what it looks.
Right.
I did just 100 apps a day at $600. That's $60,000 a day.
Right.
Well, times 20 days, that's 1.2 million.
Right.
Well, all we got to do is keep adding some zeros.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep recruiting. We're going to keep helping people with insurance. We're going to keep helping agents make money. We're very serious-minded and focused on helping people make money.
Absolutely.
The old saying that if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So before we wrap it up, anytime we have a guest, I always want to give the opportunity to make sure we didn't miss anything. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we get out of here today?
No, I think we're good. I think if people are looking at this thing, I want to make sure they understand that this is a large, very, very large opportunity.
Yes.
You have the opportunity to change your family's lives. Not just your family, not just current family, but your children's children's children. If you will just take this as serious as you possibly can. And what we want to do is we just want to help more people, whether, like I said earlier, whether it's benefits or helping them make money. We're just very serious-minded about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we definitely appreciate your time. Definitely appreciate you flipping your phone over so we could have the conversation. Ever since you've come on board, it's been very fun from our side to watch you continue to evolve. I think it's been more of an evolution and more of a growth, and to watch that and to see how your numbers continue to increase, your enthusiasm continues to increase. We just appreciate you, everything that you do, and it's just very, very amazing to see from our end all the things that you have been doing, and I can't wait to see you reach all those goals that you've set for yourself.
Thank you. You guys do a great job. We appreciate you guys out in the field. We understand that sometimes it's a thankless job, but we appreciate what you guys are doing. Really do.
I really appreciate you saying that.
No problem.
So once again, RVP Lewis from South Carolina in the building. It's the All Fired Up podcast, and like we say on every single episode, it's Senior Life, all your life.